G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game, spawning in on the east side of the map, in the colour purple, playing as the Abbasid dynasty. It's I Am Magic! And on the west side of the map in the colour blue, playing as the Chinese, it's Louis MT. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dry Arabia. We're here watching two of the world's best players go up against one another in Golden League 2. This is the third round, the third and final round. Well, I say the third and final round. It's the third round, and it's the final round before the playoffs. Playoffs will be coming, of course, this weekend. Actually, no, not this weekend, the next weekend. We're still in round 3 next weekend as well. It's complicated, but just look, turn up, say g'day. It's worthwhile. It's definitely worth your time. EGC TV, I'll leave a link down in the description to where you can catch it. 15 GMT, 10 AM Eastern. Let's get into the game. Of course, we've got a great matchup here. Matchup I love to see. Now, the reason why I love this matchup so much is obviously, you guys will know I used to love the Chinese. I still do love the Chinese, but not as much as I love the English. And this matchup is really fun. This is definitely a matchup where it's all about being reactive in this matchup, because both civilizations are reactive civilizations. The question is, how many TCs can I make without dying? That's the big question here. So I'm looking forward to seeing how many TCs we're going to see in this game, whether we see 10 TCs, whether we see 20 TCs. That's the big question. Now, we're right on board with Louis MT at the beginning, as he is playing the Chinese, and I'll be looking to spawn out exactly what type of build order he's going for. 7 on food, and then moving over 2 onto gold. So a little bit of an interesting build order. I don't think I remember this one. Unless, does he go 8th? Yeah, never mind. I do remember this one. 8th Ville onto food, and now he should be heading over to wood. There we go, and we see him moving over to wood. Though he did reroute to sheep now. So it looks like it might be an early Song Dynasty. The fact that he's sending that Ville to sheep instead of to wood. He was going to wood initially, but now going over to sheep makes me think he's probably going to go for a fast Song Dynasty, which might mean that he looks to follow up with the second town center. Let's ride on board with Magic. So far, in the early game, everything looking pretty standard here for Magic. A couple villages on sheep underneath the town center. No wood taken just this early. Single scout openings from both players, and both of them being quite defensive with their scouting patterns. Neither player looking to explore the enemy side of the map. Just taking a bit of a delayed look towards the middle. Excuse me, just there. Yeah, a bit of a delayed look towards the middle. Now, when it comes to your options for this game, oh my lord. Oh my lord. Okay, we got the trade win coming in. Now, I will just remind you guys, we are in a tournament game. This is an event, if I remember correctly, I think it's $80,000, $70,000, something like that. It's a ludicrous amount of money. These guys want to win. This is imperative that they win their games. So we've got Magic, who's like, actually, I'm just going to go for the trade wing. The trade wing is by far the best choice in this situation. This is kind of wild, right? Because what you're normally used to seeing in this matchup is a heavy reliance on stone, on town centers, and that's what I would be expecting. I suspect that we're going to see Louis look to try and check in on that stone, track how many villagers are on there, and I'm curious how he's going to look to respond, because one of the things to note is that when you're playing up against trade, you have to come to the enemy side of the map to try and kill it. And that can mean that if you've got an immobile army, like the Chinese often do with their Zhugunu and their spears, you can get caught off guard. You can get caught off guard by an enemy who's more mobile than you, can take advantage of that in a great way. And the Abbasid, of course, are famous for their mobile composition that they love to play. Louis spots the stone, sees there's nothing on stone at the moment. He will know that, okay, there is a build order, and he'll see the House of Wisdom now. He'll see the trade wing, and he'll be going, okay, all right, we got to react. Let's see what Louis does for a reaction, whether he changes anything that he's doing, whether he looks to start maybe sending out a villager over to wall in some trading posts. Lots of options for him. And on the defensive, rather, towards this south side, we do see that Magic finally makes his way down towards this corner. With pixel-perfect timing, the market goes down. And now we see those traders. They do spawn. He had a little bit of a population block right there, but he did manage to fix it up. Now going to be heading out towards the trading post. He's pretty close to the edge of the map. 1 tile away from the edge of the map. So that means that I think it was 168 was the maximum. So this should take it down to maybe like 165, the trade. We'll have to wait and see. He looks to pick up the trade upgrade as well. We see Grand Bazaar coming through, 25%. And the trade is now connecting, 167. There you go, 167. And now makes his way across this map and immediately starts walling it. I'm loving it so far. This is exactly how you want to be playing when you're playing trade. want to be walling segments of the map just so it makes it harder for your enemy to get through there. It's not about preventing them from getting through. It's just about delaying them. It's going to be inevitable that they try and get through. And when they do, you want to get yourself as much time as possible. And now, back towards the base. Magic's going to be going for an archery range. And I do like this play. This makes a lot of sense. Now, I mentioned earlier about the fact that there could be mobility that comes out from the way that Magic is playing. He could look to play Horseman Camel Archer. But against the Chinese, I would warn you very, very, I guess, I don't know what the right word is here, but I would just warn you against playing that. I would be saying, hey, stick with just your standard archer, because the Camel Archer can get focused down very quickly by Zhuge Nu. Remember, Zhuge Nu, there's typically a big mass that you're going to be building of them. So it's very easy just to right-click an enemy, Camel Archer, and boom, dead, boom, dead. Whoa, Barbican! Whoa, Barbican! We got ourselves a forward Barbican. I didn't even realize until it was already too late. Oh no, we got trouble in paradise. Magic, he was going for trade, but now he's going for the outpost. Louis putting on the pressure early on villager count. We see the first of the villagers gone down for Louis, but at the same time, he's managed to take out 4 of his enemy. The Barbican looks like it will get cancelled. More vills going to get pulled from here. Indeed, it does get cancelled, and the vill's going to get surrounded. So many villagers in here. 17 villagers together with the horsemen. Beautiful play from Louis, and I tell you what, it escaped my vision, let alone the vision of Magic. Very well done that he managed to spot it out. Now going to be able to chase those villagers back towards the enemy base. And great trade there. Magic obviously realizing, well, if I just commit enough villagers in this situation, it's going to be enough villagers. I might lose some, but at least I'll be able to get some as well. So really nice response there from Magic. Great timing there. Louis now going to be putting that Barbican down back at home, nice and safe. He's got a deer hunt. He's got the berries that he'll be able to protect. And we do see Veterancy coming through. Rather, we're seeing Hardened come through on these spearmen. And does he move into camels? He does go into camels. Oh, interesting choice. Let's see how it plays out, though. The traders have made their way across the map. You can see that gold. I don't know whether he's traded. I suspect he's probably done a little bit of trading. Yeah, he's done a bit of trading with the gold. He's bought some food. We can see him right there buying some wood as well. Actually, was that? Yeah, he was buying wood right there. So he's going to be moving into Horseman Camel Archer, which is obviously a really strong composition. Curious how it does stack up, though, against the Chinese. On Louis' side, he's looking to pick up a second town center. This is interesting to me, right? Because Louis was very clearly going for a second town center. It could have been arrow slits, but I think it's probably was just for a second TC. But this is such a dangerous game. Do you really think a Chinese 2 TC song or even 3 TC song is going to be able to keep up with Abbasid trade this early on in the game? Somebody who is going for traders this early on, 7 minutes in. I tell you what, I don't know the answer, but I suspect the answer is no. It would not be able to keep up with it. And now Magic looking to try and find a way through to Louis' base. Walls continuing to go up across the map. We can see Magic doing a great job. Louis spotting this out as well. I'm fearful about the lack of reaction coming through from Louis. There's a couple of ways that you can play this. I think in the event that you spot your enemy doing this, there's 2 primary ways you can play this as China. Number 1 thing is just look for a Zhuge Nu spear all in and just try and cut off trade somewhere around the middle. Somewhere around here. That's the first thing that you could do. You let him build up the trade numbers, 12, 14 traders, whatever it is, and they're going to pay off quickly, but there's nothing you can do about it. And then push in with a huge amount of units and try and interrupt that trade. Try and cut it off. The second way that you can look to play this is going fast castle into knights. But the problem is, if your enemy is successful in their walls across the map, your knights are going to become meaningless. And you can see just how great this spawn is for Magic. When it comes to his wood lines both spawn towards the front, he's got concurrent wood lines that blanket the edges of the map, or rather blanket his side of the map. Probably a better way to say it. And that just gives him a huge advantage when it comes to walling. It makes it so simple for him to wall. And this is how you play trade. For anybody at home who's wondering how do you play trade, right now, I Am Magic is putting on an absolute clinic on trade. I'm loving the fact that he's not going absolutely ham, like balls to the walls on the trade just yet. I say that despite him adding in a 3rd market right now. But he's still investing a huge amount of resources into his units. And you can see he's stacking up 569 gold at the moment. He doesn't mind losing a villager or 2. Louis obviously was looking to commit with the Barbican. The fact that it got caught out definitely hurts him. And now that villager on the other side of the wall, he'll be very happy with that. Spear, horsemen, up against horsemen, camels. And the spear horsemen are somewhat trapped at this point. No Chukunu. A lack of Chukunu is definitely going to be a fortunate thing for Magic here. As Louis looks to play in a completely melee composition. Camels are going to be able to try and micro their way out, managing to pick off those spearmen. You can see how much damage they're able to do. And now the single camel remains after the first one got taken out. And now the wall has been completed. Everything but the last little segments on this top side have been completed. And we have got ourselves a big problem. We have got ourselves a huge problem. Up to 9 traders now. Now remember, the reason why the Abbasid trade is so scary is because not only do they get cheaper villagers, but they get cheaper traders. 40 wood, 40 gold. Compared to their enemies who all pay 60 wood, 60 gold, except for the Mongols who get a cheaper trader. They get a little trade discount through their landmark. But other than that, everybody else is going to pay those full prices for it. So now Louis, he's in a tough spot because Louis kind of heads back to the drawing board. Well, you can't push your enemy. I feel like I'm going to call the game right now. I don't see how Louis can win. I genuinely don't see how Louis can win. Other than, see, and this is the part where it's like it's so unexplored. Louis could just go castle. He could just gather up enough stone for a keep. He could just chop through and drop a keep right here. And now all of a sudden your trade is meaningless. So there's so many different ways to approach it. But at this point in the game, Magic has got a huge advantage. Just the fact he's able to get those walls up. The fact he hasn't died yet. He didn't take too many villager losses. Obviously, he lost 11 villagers, but his enemy lost 7 villagers. So, not everything is going poorly for him. But we do see the second town's going to come through, and I can't help but feel like this might be a trap. This may be a trap for Louis by going into this second TC. On the other side of the map, though, Louis' last unit behind enemy lines is going to be going the way of the dodo shortly. You can see horseman on horseman action. He's trying to keep it alive just because by keeping it alive, you're going to force APM out of your enemy. And look at this outpost even coming down from Magic here, just in case the enemy looks to push through. And we'll switch it over now to income per minute so you can get a better idea of where these guys are currently sitting, and a counterattack going to be coming through from Magic. Looking to draw the enemy and keep him over on his side of the map. Just trying to say, stay away from my side. And the fact he's got outposts down here are really smart. This is the most important side. If you lose this market, you will lose your trade. You'll have to reset everything. You'll have to send vills down there to get another market up. I'd almost be tempted just to wall up this market a couple times. Put a couple gates through, just to make sure that it's going to be fine. He hits the gold. At this point, no indication of an age up coming through from Louis. We'll ride on board with him as that second TC starts creating villages. Magic with a economic unit advantage. But remember, his economic units are much stronger than that of the Chinese. Of course, traders generate a lot more resources, both per their investment and for their for the population space that they've got. So a standard villager works out to be about 40 resources every minute. These villas obviously going to be a little bit less than that because of the walking distance here. But if you were to take a villager on gold, especially because I think these guys have got their wheelbarrow indeed they do, plus they're being supervised. So you're probably looking at close to about 50 resources every minute coming through from these guys. And that's actually going to be pretty comparable to traders. But that is only the gold gathering villages. Your food gathering villas, a little bit less. But now, Louis going to be looking to push out. Chukunu finally getting added in. Magic on the defensive here. Needs to get back behind those walls, or at least prevent Louis from coming in and forcing him to give up that market. That's going to be the key factor here. This market. There is a board down here as well. I do suspect he might get in onto it. What did we call the boar? I can't remember. Was it Boris? I think it's Boris the boar. Just because of the haircut. It's very Boris-esque. Don't take offense. I know there's going to be some right-wing English guys in there like, what did you say about Boris? Calm down, guys. It's all right. I was trying to do the... It didn't go too well, though. Chukunu numbers starting to build here. This is what Louis needs. He needs to go more heavily into the Chukunu. Start building up that mass. Spearman at the front here. starting to lose quite a bit. And beautiful micro coming through from Louis. Nice little loop around, making sure he is focusing down the camels. And I do expect that we will see a lot less camels starting to come out now, just because the Jukunu have hit the field. But still, the Jukunu numbers able to force those Abbasid units. Don't you love the sounds? You got to love the screams of the Abbasid units as they go down. I don't know what happened with the Abbasid. Who was in charge of the Abbasid sound design? Because the villagers and the units have just got the craziest yells, yodels, screams. It's ludicrous. Like, let's go into the base right now, see if we can find any female villagers that complete some houses. Those girls, well, they're very happy when they complete their... Oh, the Jukunu get through. He tries to do the quick wall. The villager does get the chop. So he's going to be able to bypass the walls. And you can see right there, the palisade is still open. He hasn't cancelled the wall. This is something I often talk about in my coaching. I'm like, you got to make sure you cancel these little palisade corners, because as you can see, it is an entryway. And if all he needs to do is just press S on top of this palisade wall, right here, this button here, cancel construction, and it will stop all the units flowing in. In fact, he could split the army in two if he wanted right now. Big trade coming through. Magic at the moment sitting on 32 traders, and finally the Jukunu just going to be parking on the trade line. Exactly what Louis needs to do. This is definitely the play. The problem that you're going to have is the tempo right now from Magic is going to be really solid. My fear is that he may have left it too late, especially going into that second town center. Might have been a better idea to just avoid that second TC and focus on getting this Jukunu spear out as soon as he possibly could. The villager allows him to bypass those walls, but he just gets pushed back. He gets repelled, and Magic's going to be able to hold. Where does Louis go from here? This is where it gets so tough for the Chinese player on the defensive. 26 traders still. 19 workers have been killed this game by Louis. But still, I can't help but feel like it means nothing in the scheme of things when you've got 3 markets all sitting next to the trading post, rallying down towards the market in the corner. Yeah, sure, I lost a couple traders, but they're easy to replace, and they're cheap to replace. They're only 80 resources. It's not a big deal if it goes down. And now it's going to be archers up against the Jukunu. Keep in mind the Jukunu will trade better and more effectively, but there's going to be way more archers. 34 Jukunu against 30 archers. Those reinforcements taking their time to get across the map. He's going to have to kite out all of these horsemen. They've got their ranged armor through. Should be enough to keep them alive a little bit longer. We hear a battering ram. At least I heard a battering ram. There it is, making its way towards the outpost. It was unit sieging, actually, that I was hearing. Jukunu, this is a solid little defensive point he's got, but he is going to lose the outpost. Needs to bring more vills here. And the problem that he's got behind this is that Magic is about to age up. The resources keep trickling in. The consequence of being forced over towards your enemy's side of the map is that their reinforcements are much closer to the fight than yours are. And as a result, you can see the difference in units on the field here. Louis having a really tough spot. He's not really thinking about castle at this point, but remember, the economies have gotten so big here that a minute without making units, and he'll be up to the castle age as well. Second layer of walls going to be coming through now. I wonder if you'll ever see Abbasid players just walling out, or not connecting their walls to the tree lines, because it's always a risk, isn't it? But to be honest, I feel like it's definitely worth it, the amount of wood that you do save. Because this is like, you're talking probably close to like 40 wood that you're saving by not building here. As long as you're cancelling those ends. That's the key thing. Military wing now coming through for Magic. He's got a couple of options to go into. But probably going to be looking just to pick up veterancy upgrades and move into knights. Makes a lot of sense. And Jukunu doing a decent job here. I love the battering ram just sitting on top, trying to draw any fire. Obviously, it's a siege unit. But you can see right here, the Jukunu, instead of reinforcing on the front line, are just going to be focusing down the battering ram. And that's where that battering ram really gets used quite well. And have a look at the Abbasid trade behind this. 40 total traders. You know, when you see all those posts on Reddit about trade being overpowered, they don't talk about this, but they should be. Because this is the part where it's like, Louis is one of the best players in the world. For anybody who doesn't know, he's currently top 5 on the ladder. If you were to take out like the Muslim Smurfs and the Beastie Smurfs and the Marine Lord Smurfs, Louis MT is top 5 on the ranked ladder. This guy's insane. He's really good at the game. And he comes up against trade all the time. And yet still, he sits here scratching his head thinking, what am I going to do? Age up going to be coming through, though. So that's the direction he's going to be going. So he could look for a potential timing. Maybe veterancy on the Chukunu together with +2. Maybe a couple of Springalds to help him out against any potential Mangonels, which will be coming in. It's only a matter of time until those Mangonels do come through. Playing against the Abbasid dynasty. The civilization loves to get that siege down on the field. Boar going to get taken out. Interesting boar positions this game. Right in the corner, up along this edge of the map. Really quite close to the base of Louis. And now the counter walls that have come through from Louis. Looking to get threatened. Ville's going to be going down. They were trying to build an outpost. The age up comes through. Castle age. Expect to see veterancy and +2. There it is. Veterancy and +2 on those Chukunu straight away. Huge bonuses to damage. Going from 5 to 7 damage for these Chukunu. It's a massive amount of extra damage they're going to get. Can always look for +2 as well, but to be honest, +2 is not really going to matter that much against the veteran archers. It's going to matter a lot more for magic. And now we see him moving into composite bows. Really interesting decision. I actually hadn't thought about this. Oh, he's not supervising. He's not supervising. He's going to be supervising where is it? Where is it? He's not supervising the archery range. There's an archery range. He needs to get that Chukunu upgrade in right now. There it is. 1 second to go. Finally comes through. He's up to +2. So we'll be able to hold. Composite bows also coming through on the other side. So faster attack speed coming out for Magic's units. This is it. This is 100% insanity right now. Full upgrades on both sides here. +2 ranged armor almost coming through. And Song Dynasty going to be pumping out these Chukunus, trying their best to hold on. +2 has arrived on those Lancers. Only 1 damage a pop going to be coming in, so he needs something to deal with these. Whether it's crossbows, palace guards, spearmen, he will need something. And Camel Rider's going to be coming in as well. But look at this. You've actually got archers that are stronger than the Chukunu now, because they've got that attack speed. So as long as you're able to maintain a relatively similar mass, you're actually going to be fine. This is crazy. I never actually thought about this, because in this matchup, the Chukunu overwhelms the archer every single time. It completely destroys the Abbasid dynasty. And one of the key differences here is the castle age. The castle age timing is what changes everything, because it allows you to have access to composite bows. Composite bows, for anybody who doesn't know, is a unique technology available to the Abbasid dynasty in the military wing, available in the castle age, and it's going to reduce the reload time on archers. And it means that instead of firing once every 1.6 seconds, 1.7 seconds, they fire every 1.25 seconds. Increasing their DPS a huge amount. Compare that to the Chukunu, which is firing once every 1.75 seconds. So they fire a lot faster than the Chukunu. And that can be, that's really, attack speed is the most important statistic to have in these larger battles. Because what's going to be happening is overkill. Overkill is where you've got all of these units, 25 archers, and you might only need, say, 8 archers to kill a Chukunu. But these 25 archers all focus down the same Chukunu, just because it gets very hard to micro when you're talking about these kind of higher level numbers. It's possible, and you can just A-move, but then once you A-moving, you're not going to be focusing units down. But with faster attack speed, that's going to allow you to focus down units more swiftly than what your enemy will be able to focus them down. Relics getting picked up. That's going to be the first one. Looks like it might be towards that top side. Indeed it is. Imam moving back now. He's on 114 villagers, 56 of whom are traders. And Magic, his trade is just... I mean, this is it. This is clinical. If you are an aspiring trader out there, take notes. This is it. This is how you trade. Let's see if we can spot some of these traders before the game is going to finish, because this push, this is a game finishing push. There are way too many units here. Do we see any Springalds coming out? No Springalds coming out at the moment for Louis. No real way for him to deal with this Mangonel. A little bit of a keep going to be going down here on the bottom side. Ville's going to get chased away. Where are the traders? There are the traders. Look at them coming through. Archer numbers really starting to push forward. He's looking for more villagers. He wants to try and find those farms. They're in the back. And now you can see exactly where those knights are heading. Magic knows. And Louis in a really tough spot. Chukunu going to be losing a lot of relevancy once that +2 ranged armor comes through. The armored units of the enemy are going to be so difficult to deal with, because they do 7 damage and there's 6 armor, which means they're only doing 1 damage an arrow. Mangonel shot from the left of the screen. Wasn't the biggest, wasn't the brightest, but I still feel the Randy inside. A little bit of a dodge, only hitting 3 units on that northern side of the army. And now the food economy starts to slowly get strangled. Louis is going to be able to overwhelm The archer's in his base. The mangonel does go down. And now a counterattack going to be coming at the top. This is what we were talking about. You can't count him out until it's over, even though I've counted him out multiple times. I guess you shouldn't count him out until it's over. I'm still counting him out at this point, honestly. The trade just feels way too good. And the fact that Magic's in his economy like this, it makes it really difficult for him to keep his head on straight. He's got so many things going on. Should be able to clean up this little attack. Where does he focus next? This keep's going to be going up. So now he's got to deal with that. Loses out on the gold. Loses out on the stone. This village is right next to this as well that could be under threat. Sacred Site's getting taken in the meantime. Magic with just so many things going on right now. Able to secure the victory. Good game, well played, fellas. Go check out Golden League. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can watch it over on EGC TV. What a game coming out from these two guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.